Okay, so if you're a bit of a learner, plasterer, up and coming, learning your trade, let's have a little focus on strategies, so in the entirety of this job. Now I've come to take on the rest of this room. Now, if we notice, yesterday what got done in here, which was plasterboard, this wall was plasterboard, this ceiling was plasterboard, this wall was plasterboard, and so was this and this ceiling. So what that's left in here is quite a very tricky hit, in the sense this is all live now. This is all what was it? It was painted plasterboard, so it's original. So we're at the stage now where it's been put on and it's had a flatten. So this is live. This is live. This panel is live. This here is live. This is live. All the way up here. This is live. All this is live. All the way down here. All these reveals are left. And they're all live. This is done. And then also there's this making good out here. This is all live. Okay, so what's happened in here is all the meterage has been taken out the room, and whilst that's happening, all the awkward stuff, oh, that little boxing, all that's live up there as well. All the awkward stuff has been piling up, so what's left now is a really quite a tricky, time-consuming little hit. I mean, it's less than a bag, so if you're being paid by the meter on this, you know, it's not really worth anything, and yet it's going to take you pretty much, you know, a whole set to get this down. The plaster is going off in the bucket. You will be surprised how tricky and time consuming all these angles are. Now you can do things and have a strategy to take things out. Like, this isn't such a bad idea to have this wall done or have the reveals done, because it starts holding the beads still. Here, where this is all live, this is live, this is live, there is still some bounce in these beads. If the underneath had been done, okay, then these beads would be holding a lot firmer. So up here, like you can see, there is movement in that bead and it's bleeding through into the plaster if one side of that was done. So sometimes you really need to, I think, get all your prep done, have a look at the room and try to think, well, how can I make this room as easy as possible? So one of the main strategies you can have is get some meterage on, like get some ceiling on or something, and then because all the prep's done, it gives you options of what you can take out. You think, well, look at what I've got left in my bucket, it's probably just enough to get those reveals on. So then you get your ceiling on and you're taking on a tiny little bit of awkward. Then once that's done or whatever, and you feel comfortable, then you'll hit something else and you think, I've got a little bit left in my bucket. And then you think, well, if I take that middle out, that'll make those beads, do you know what I mean? So you'll be able to nip off little bits of awkward every time you're doing a bit of distance. And that will save you having to do a really tricky hit like this, which is loads of angles, and unless you know what you're doing, you're going to struggle. Now, I'm always going on about this 20x5 carbon steel trowel. It's big. In some instances, it's not very good for doing lots of angles, but in this case, let's have a look. Actually spans all of that, so that makes that quite easy. And up here, it spans the whole thing. If you've got a trowel that doesn't span it, you have to come one side, this side, and you've got a chance of a ripple in the middle. So yeah, in this case, this is working really well. Okay, so let's have a look out here. So in this case, kind of like the opposite has been done, where this awkward bit, although it's not so awkward, has been picked up. These two little bits of ceiling, so the ceiling's all done, which is just leaving this, and this. If you notice, we had some awkward little reveals, and look, I mean, that's like a trowel fall, but that we took the time to get them on, which has held these beads a lot firmer, and just made this wall a lot easier. Trying to get this and these little reveals on the same time is a lot more tricky than breaking them up into two sections. Just remembering, there's nobody in this room. So this ceiling was done yesterday as well. This is what I tackled, and it was over an Artex, a broken lever. Oh, and this patching up was to be done there. So whilst this ceiling was on, that's why we was able to nip out into this room as well and pick up some little bits and pieces and start taking the awkward out of the room and breaking the back of it. So yeah, definitely. Oh, and let's have a look what Darius did yesterday. So we just left Darius in here by himself in the garage, and we just left him to his own devices, and he picked all this up. So yeah, the ceiling goes under here, little return here, round down here, obviously this ceiling, a little bit of box in here. That just needed floating in, it's just a garage, and obviously he's done all this wall, so he's done pretty good in here, I think. So yeah, it's well worth you know, trying to think about how to tackle a room. And I guess that comes with experience a little bit, you know, so yeah. Try to make things, think how is it going to be easier, what's the most economical and quickest way. One of them is just get all the prep done, get a bit of area on, see what's in the bucket, because all the prep's done, try and nip off a little bit of awkward every time you're doing a bit of a flat. And that, for me, seems to be one of the best ways of doing it. So, with that being said, I'm just going to carry on with doing this little set. The second set will be this wall over here, which is the old exterior wall. It's got an exterior paint on it. I've PVA'd it, and I noticed the PVA hung around for quite a while, so I'm not expecting that to pull in. But this unpainted area, I don't know why that would be unpainted. I don't know what's happening. It's like there's a window, but it wasn't. I don't know what's happening there. But this is sucking in a little bit more, so I might just give that patch there a little bit of a PVA. We've got this area out here to make good, and that will leave this wall here. Okay, so the second set is this, and that little bit of making good, which then gives us loads of time to, whilst that last small set is going off, I like to leave a small set so that you've got time to start clearing up, getting your tools out, and you know, it just all flows nice and smoothly. That's what we are going to do.